Chapter 4350. Unexpectedly, Granny remained calm, but she closed her eyes and started chanting some unknown incantation. In just an instant, something miraculous happened. Layla suddenly let go of Ling's neck and screamed. Then, her hands trembled as she ran around the living room crazily. Ling, on the other hand, looked at Granny as if nothing had happened. "Granny, this demon's hands are cold. It must be because the Yin energy on her is too strong." "Granny, this..." The grandmother and granddaughter knew what was going on, but Qin Chu didn't understand. He didn't know why, but the monster that was strangling Ling's neck suddenly let go and ran around the living room screaming. Ling turned her head and explained to Qin Chu. "Brother Qin Chu, this demon was under my grandma's illusion. She thought I was a ball of fire. Once a person is under the illusion, they will be in the same place. She really felt that her hand was burning, so she ran around crazily." "I see." Qin Chu was enlightened, but at the same time, he was also surprised by Granny's illusion. Although Qin Chu didn't know much about Miaojiang's witchcraft, he felt that this Granny wasn't as simple as an ordinary wish. Seeing that Layla was almost tortured, the old lady chanted a few more incantations and instantly dispelled the illusion. Layla panted heavily and fell onto the sofa. Then she reacted and looked at the old lady and the little girl with hostility. "Who are you? We should be the ones asking you that. Demon, where did you come from? Who told you to come and kill innocent people?" Ling was young and couldn't hold it in anymore. She pointed at Layla and scolded her. Especially when she heard that she had killed many people, she was furious. As for the Ministry of Public Security, in order to appease the public, they didn't reveal the real number of deaths. It wasn't Jingda's fault. After all, Jingda did have some traces of the original owner, so even if he drank blood, he only killed some cats and dogs. Layla was a ruthless character after she came to this city. From beginning to end, more than 20 people, including adults, children, men and women, had been killed. Gao Ran had always felt guilty. Later, when he heard from Qin Chu that there was a way, he felt a little better. Qin Chu never dared to tell Gao Ran the whole truth. After all, the police were all humans. No matter how good they were, they couldn't beat a monster. Therefore, in order to prevent innocent people from dying, Qin Chu decided to take the risk and put Layla under house arrest. Of course, house arrest didn't work on Layla at all. She was still as evil as ever. "So what? What can you do to me?" Layla's tone was still arrogant. Her mother-in-law didn't say anything and just looked at her quietly. Layla looked at Qin Chu again and said, "You're really a good-for-nothing. You can't deal with me by yourself, so you asked for help. You even found an old lady and a child. Haha, do you think you can deal with me like this? What a joke. Also, about the cooperation you mentioned earlier, I've already told the Lord everything. She has a lot of opinions about you now. I don't know if she'll fly into a rage and kill your wife and child." "Pa." Layla's lewd laughter echoed in the villa. Qin Chu wasn't angered by her words. Instead, he looked at her calmly. "Okay, little Qin, it's about time. Let's go." After confronting Layla for a while, the old lady didn't do anything and was about to leave. Qin Chu nodded and turned around. The three of them walked out. "You want to leave?" "It's not that easy." Layla rushed out in a flash and went straight for the old lady. After all, she had been hit by the old lady's illusion just now and felt a burning sensation on her hand, so Layla wanted revenge. Chapter 4351. Unexpectedly, the old lady waved her hand and a thick white smoke rose. It instantly blocked Layla's vision. Only Layla could see the thick white smoke. It was indeed an illusion, a very powerful illusion. Even someone as fast as Layla was easily blocked by her. After Qin Chu left with his men, Layla was still gesturing and shouting in the living room, "Old woman, if you have the guts, don't use any sorcery. I'll dig out your heart and pull out your tendons." The bodyguards were also dumbfounded. In their opinion, this woman was crazy. Why was she howling in the living room? After walking out, before Qin Chu could say anything, Granny spoke. "Little Qin, don't worry. This woman isn't a food-eating monster at all. She's been using human blood to quench her thirst and her hunger to quench her hunger. I used an illusion to trap her for 3 days. She won't be able to see anything during these 3 days. Moreover, she won't be able to go out and do evil, let alone contact her base. Thank you, Granny. Qin Chu was relieved to hear that this woman couldn't go out and do evil for the time being. Brother Qin Chu, don't worry. Even if the illusion disappears in 3 days, she won't be able to continue doing evil. Just now, my grandma has already gotten her hair and blood. When she gets home, she'll start casting spells to control her. That powerful? Qin Chu had long heard of the high-end witchcraft spells in Miaojiang. They could use a strand of hair or a drop of blood to control a person's body and mind. It seemed to be true. Yes, when she attacked Ling, I came into close contact with her and easily got her hair. As for the blood, I have to thank my little guy. It helped me get it without anyone noticing. Qin Chu lowered his head and saw that a very small bug had appeared in Granny's hand. It was black and crawled back and forth in her palm. It made one's scalp tingle. Anyway, thank you, Granny. It's fine. Didn't I say that since I'm willing to help you, there's no need to thank me? After saying this, Granny seemed to remember something else and said to Qin Chu, after I finish the ritual in 3 days, I'll control this demon. Little Qin, come to my place and look for me. I'm going to cast a spell on you to help you find your wife. Is that okay? Qin Chu was very excited when he heard that he could find Mion. Yes, but during the process of casting the goo, you'll have to endure some extraordinary pain. Are you willing? I'm willing. Let's not talk about this anymore. As long as I can find my wife, I'm willing to give up my life. Qin Chu had made up his mind. To him, Mion was more important than his life. Xiao Ling could not help but sigh. Big brother Qin Chu, you're so good to big sister. I believe that someone as good as big sister will definitely be able to return safely. Xiao Ling recalled that when they were in the mountains, Huamin had spoken to her gently when she was pregnant. She still felt that Huamin was the most gentle woman she had met in the city. She never put on airs and never looked down on others. Such a person should not fall into the hands of the bad guys. After driving Granny and Xiao Ling to their place, Qin Chu felt much more relaxed. Granny's appearance was like a blessing from the heavens, solving all his worries. He immediately called Xiao Fei and told him to relax. After all, if he found Huamin, he would be able to find Lu Yen. Then, Qin Chu drove to a place that he had not dared to set foot in for a long time. Chapter 43-52. Xian's ramen. It was afternoon when Qin Chu arrived. There were not many people in the noodle shop after lunch. Now that the students were on winter break, business was not as good as before. However, the owner insisted on opening the shop and only closed it on New Year's Eve. When he saw Qin Chu, the owner greeted him warmly. Mr. Qin, long time no see. Yes, long time no see. Qin Chu walked in, took off his deerskin gloves, and sat in the corner. Where's your wife? The owner knew that Mr. Qin and Mrs. Qin were inseparable. They came together almost every time. They ate a bowl of hot beef ramen. My wife went on a trip. She must have gone abroad. I haven't seen her in a long time. Yes, she went abroad for a long time. After Huamin was switched in Yunnan, he had not returned for a long time. Qin Chu told the owner that his wife had gone on a long-distance trip to comfort himself. Same old one big bowl of beef ramen? No, 2 bowls. Can you finish 2 bowls? The owner was slightly startled. Yes, I can finish it. I'll eat 1 bowl for my wife, Qin Chu said. Hearing this, the owner laughed loudly. His laughter was extremely hearty. You two are really interesting. When you two were dating, you were still students and often came together. Later on, when you went abroad to study, your wife often came alone. Later on, when you came back and got married, the 2 of you came again. Later on, you seemed to be in poor health and went abroad to recuperate for about 3 or 4 years. Your wife came alone, sometimes with your twin daughters. When you recovered and came back, the 2 of you came together again. Now that your wife has gone on a trip, you come alone again. Yes, we're husband and wife. We're going to be together for the rest of our lives. Qin Chu had a blissful smile on his face. This kind of smile only appeared when he mentioned Huamin. Let me tell you, when you were recuperating overseas, every time your wife came, she would order 2 bowls and say that she would eat one for you. Did the two of you discuss this beforehand? The shopkeeper's words made Qin Chu have mixed feelings. His hands trembled slightly. My wife, did she say the same thing? Yeah, it's the same as what you said. Okay, I won't talk to you anymore. I'm going to cook some noodles for you. Eat them while they're hot. The boss was a warm-hearted person. He chatted with Qin Chu for a while. He hurriedly went into the kitchen to cook noodles. Qin Chu looked at the familiar environment and the familiar school across from him. The only thing missing was that familiar voice. At this moment, Pudding sent a video call. Qin Chu didn't want to take the phone because he didn't want the kids to see his melancholy face. However, he was afraid that Pudding would think too much. After all, she was a meticulous child. Therefore, after thinking for a while, he still picked up the call. Pudding. Daddy. Pudding called out sweetly. You're eating noodles at Xianxia's? Pudding immediately recognized the setting behind her daddy. Yes. Do you miss mommy? Pudding was almost certain that the person at home wasn't her mommy. Otherwise, if her mommy was here, her daddy would never come to Xianxia's ramen alone to eat. Qin Chu nodded. Sis misses home a little tonight. She misses you and mommy. She's a little moody tonight, so Auntie and Uncle Tang went to comfort her and tell her stories. What about you? I took the opportunity to run to the balcony and video call Daddy. Qin Chu smiled. Daddy, the scenery in California is very beautiful. You and Mommy have been here before, right? Yes, she also likes Hotel California, Qin Chu said. Then when Mommy has a younger brother in the future, the 5 of us can come to California again, okay? Chapter 43-53. The 5 of us will go on a trip to California. This was Qin Chu's promise to Pudding. Daddy, when can we go back? It's almost Chinese New Year. I spoke to Grandpa on the phone today, and he said that you should go to the States for Chinese New Year. Our family is all in the States, so if you bring Mommy with you, we can all be together. Daddy is still a little busy, so it depends. Okay, then you must take care of your health. I will. You and your sister have fun. Bye, Daddy. Bye. After hanging up, Qin Chu lowered his head and ate 2 bowls of beef ramen alone. The truth was his appetite hadn't been very good recently, and he ate very little. Usually he only ate a bite, but today, perhaps because he knew that his mother-in-law could help him. She helped him find his Mion, so he was in a much better mood, and his appetite increased greatly. In the end, the 2 bowls of beef ramen were finished by Qin Chu. After being satisfied, Qin Chu drove to the Municipal Public Security Bureau. There were 2 of their friends at the Municipal Public Security Bureau. One was Gao Ran, and the other was Jiang Xiaowei. Qin Chu asked them to meet at the Municipal Public Security Bureau's office. Recently, Wei Yunchu was on vacation, so he would go to the Municipal Public Security Bureau with his mother. When Jiang Xiaowei saw Qin Chu, she deliberately teased her son. Yunchu, look, isn't that your father-in-law? Wei Yunchu smiled shyly and didn't refute. Then, she ran over to greet Qin Chu warmly, unlike her usual aloof self. Hello, Uncle Qin. Yunchu is here too. Qin Chu dotingly patted the kid's head. Why are you at the Municipal Public Security Bureau? Jiang Xiaowei was a little surprised. Qin Chu didn't seem like a very free person, so he naturally wouldn't go to the Municipal Public Security Bureau. I have something important to talk to you and Gao Ran about. Okay, then let's go find him. Yunchu, wait for me in my office. I have something to discuss with Uncle Qin. Okay. Wei Yunchu was very obedient. He listened to his mother and went back to his mother's office. Meanwhile, Qin Chu and Jiang Xiaowei arrived at Gao Ran's office. At this moment, Gao Ran was being reprimanded by his superior like a grandson. The hand that was holding the phone was trembling. Yes, I understand, leader. I'll do it as soon as possible. Don't worry. I'll try to resolve it before the end of the year. I won't embarrass our city. After hanging up the phone, Gao Ran rolled his eyes. Fuck, you're just sitting in an office and you're giving orders? If you're so good, why don't you do it? I'm the one running to the front line all day. If serial killers were so easy to catch, wouldn't the streets be filled with heroes? What? I was scolded again. Why are you here? Only then did Gao Ran react. He glanced at Qin Chu and Jiang Xiaowei. I have something important to announce. Qin Chu said. You're going to divorce Huamin? Gao Ran guessed. Divorce your ass. Qin Chu was speechless. Jiang Xiaowei laughed. As far as I know, even if the earth exploded, Qin Chu wouldn't divorce Huamin. You're obviously asking for a beating. Then what are you so serious about? Gao Ran was curious. I'll show you a video. Qin Chu took out his cell phone and showed Gao Ran and Jiang Xiaowei the video that he and Xiao Fei had cracked. After watching it, they were both dumbfounded. Jiang Xiaowei didn't know what to say. Fuck, what the hell is this? It's too fast. That's sick. This is the psychopathic killer your city bureau has been looking for. Psychopathic killer? Because the video was too fast, Gao Ran didn't see the killer's face clearly. So, Qin Chu replayed it slowly, then Gao Ran and Jiang Xiaowei screamed at the same time. Was this Huamian? Chapter 43-54. Qin Chu was a straightforward person, so he told Gao Ran and Jiang Xiaowei everything. He started from the trip to Yunnan. After hearing this, Gao Ran and Jiang Xiaowei felt that their brain capacity wasn't enough. My head hurts. I can't react. Can you not say it all at once? That's too much information, Gao Ran complained. Jiang Xiaowei was much calmer. She pondered over Qin Chu's words and thought about the cause and effect. Then she slapped her forehead. That makes sense. I was wondering why Mian has been acting weird recently. She's not enthusiastic when she sees me and Lingling, and her taste has changed a lot. That day when she came to my office, she was very resistant to hypnosis. So, she's not Mian anymore. Yeah, she should be called a psychopathic killer now. Qin Chu nodded. Fuck this bitch. I have to arrest her immediately and give an explanation to the victim's family as well as our leader. I've been going crazy because of her. Do you know how many people have died here recently? I don't even dare to report it truthfully. I'm afraid that if I report it, I'll be fired, but our higher-ups, the mayor, and the governor will all be finished. Gao Ran had never seen a case where so many people had died in such a short period of time. In order to avoid causing panic among the public, the municipal bureau didn't dare to make it public. Now that he heard that the murderer was a woman, Gao Ran felt like 10,000 alpacas were running around in his heart. You won't be able to catch her, Qin Chu said. But I don't believe that it won't be easy to catch her if I send 100 special police officers. Gao Ran was obviously unconvinced. Jiang Xiaowei glanced at him and explained helplessly, Chief Gao, didn't you hear what Qin Chu just said? This woman isn't human. She has special abilities. Didn't you see how fast she is in the video? I think you might not be able to catch her even if you sent 500 people, let alone 100 people. What do you mean? So, there's nothing we can do. We can only passively wait to be slaughtered by that monster? Gao Ran was full of resentment towards this female killer. Of course not. I've temporarily controlled her, and she can't harm anyone during this period of time. That's great. Give her to me. I have to bring her back. I can't give her to you. Qin Chu glanced at Gao Ran. Fuck, Chu, don't tell me you're going to go against me. A life for a life. This woman has harmed so many people. Shouldn't she be sentenced to death? Gao Ran was a little agitated when he saw that Qin Chu wasn't willing to give her to him. She's the only clue that can lead us to Mian. Moreover, she's just a small character. Behind her, there's a big boss. After hearing Qin Chu's words, the two fell silent again. This woman was already sick enough. She killed people as soon as she attacked, but Qin Chu still said that she was a small character. Then how powerful was the boss behind her? It was unimaginable. At this point, Qin Chu stopped beating around the bush. He felt that the time was right, so he began to briefly talk about Huamin's mother, Linya. On the other hand, Su Yu felt a lot more relaxed recently. It was also because he hadn't contacted Huamin for a few days. In his office, he turned on his phone and found Huamin's WeChat. He saw her WeChat moments and found that there were no updates. He sent a WeChat message tentatively, "Mian, are you there?" He waited for a long time, but there was no reply. Chapter 43:55. At this moment, An ran into the room in a panic. "President Su, something bad happened." "What's wrong?" Su Yu looked at An anxiously. If An said something bad happened, it meant something serious must have happened. After all, he wasn't a person who was easily alarmed. Miss Han fainted on the set. "Where?" Hearing that Han Yueyao fainted, Su Yu immediately stood up. She was in the studio on the 5th floor. She was supposed to shoot some magazine covers today, but she received an internal call saying she fainted. "Where's she?" "She was sent to the first hospital. They're trying to save her. We don't know what happened yet." "I'll go and see." Unable to sit still, Su Yu hurried downstairs and went to the first hospital with Han Yueyao's fainting shocked everyone in Imperial Star. After all, she was a popular female star and was called the most promising female star in Imperial Star's history by many media outlets. When Su Yu arrived at the hospital, the doctor had just come out of the emergency room. "How is she?" "President Su, Miss Han is fine. She just fainted because of a strong shock. We gave her an 4 drip. If she's fine, she'll wake up in a while." "I'll go in and see." Today, Su Yu was wearing a cream-colored sweater with a large Medusa's snake head on his chest. It was indeed his favorite Versace. He wore a pair of dark-colored jeans and didn't look like the president of a listed company. When Su Yu entered, Han Yueyao had already woken up. She looked at the ceiling and tears streamed down her face silently. Su Yu walked over calmly and took out a tissue to wipe her tears. Han Yueyao's eyes moved. She didn't react until she saw Su Yu. "President Su," she said in a sobbing voice. "What's wrong? What happened?" Su Yu tried to make his voice gentle and didn't tease her as he usually did. "Lin Hang is dead." Then, Han Yueyao began to cry again. The delicate makeup she had put on for the photo shoot was all ruined by her tears. Her eyeliner was black and she looked pathetic. "Lin Hang? Oh, I remember now. Isn't the guy that Xiao likes sick in the hospital?" Su Yu vaguely remembered that a while ago, Han Yueyao had hurriedly borrowed money from him to treat this patient. "He's dead. I just got the news that he died at South Side. Critically ill? No, he was hacked to death. He did it because he was trying to save me. Otherwise, he wouldn't have ended up like this." Han Yueyao's words were intermittent and she was out of breath from crying. Su Yu didn't really understand either. She took out tissues and wiped her tears with them. "Don't cry. Speak slowly. I'm here." Su Yu felt really uncomfortable when he saw the little girl crying like this. He was used to seeing her as carefree as a gamecock. Suddenly seeing her so sad, he really didn't know how to describe his feelings. "There's a local gangster named Wang Lin. He kidnapped me in the middle of the night 2 days ago and tried to rape me. When Lin Hang's men saw it, they told Lin Hang that he went to Wang Lin's house to save me despite his serious illness. He also kidnapped Wang Lin's wife and child, but he didn't hurt them. After Wang Lin released me, he ordered his men to release the mother and son. I thought that was the end of the matter, but when I was filming, I received a call saying that Wang Lin's men rushed into the hospital in the wee hours of the morning and killed Lin Hang. After the incident, the doctors tried to save him until just now, when they called me and said that he was gone." Finally, she finished her story in tears. Su Yu was silent. He didn't know Lin Hang well, but it was almost the new year. It was tragic that he was hacked to death in the hospital. Chapter 43:56. Su Yu's expression changed drastically. "He's so arrogant. He dared to come to the hospital and kill someone. How dare he?" Han Yueyao was agitated. She had been grieving over the fact that Lin Hang was in critical condition. She had planned to visit him at the hospital today and talk to him. But all of a sudden, he was gone just like that. She couldn't accept this situation. So, when she cried her heart out, she grabbed Su Yu's hand. "Su Yu, I beg you, avenge Lin Hang. You must avenge Lin Hang. Kill that bastard, scum of society." Han Yueyao hated him to the extreme. She just didn't understand how there could be such a cruel person in the world. I understand. Leave it to me. Su Yu patted Han Yueyao's back and comforted her softly. As they spoke, the door was pushed open. Su Yu and Han Yueyao turned around abruptly. When they saw who it was, they were slightly stunned. Xiao, why are you back? Su Yu was surprised to see Su Xiao. Su Xiao was dressed casually. She was wearing a long black down jacket, a classic masterpiece of a luxury brand. She was wearing white snowshoes and a black woolen hat. She had an extremely exquisite face. I just came from Southside to help Brother Lin deal with some funeral matters. Su Xiao seemed to be very calm. Compared to Han Yueyao's crying, she was exceptionally calm. Xiao, when did you come back? Han Yueyao wiped her tears and slowly stood up. I just arrived this morning. You know about it? Han Yueyao looked at Su Xiao with red eyes. You've done enough for Brother Lin. He'll understand. Su Xiao walked over, took off her gloves, and held Han Yueyao's hand. Xiao, I'm sorry. I didn't protect him well. I really didn't expect. And Wang Kuan did attack him because of me. Han Yueyao cried even harder. She blamed herself. She always felt that if she hadn't been caught by that old bastard Wang Kuan, Lin Hang would have saved her and her son. If Lin Hang went to save her and captured Wang Kuan's concubine and son, Wang Kuan wouldn't target him and take revenge. She had thought that Su Xiao would blame her. But she didn't. Although Su Xiao was usually unreasonable and domineering, she didn't. But when it really mattered, he was very sensible and knew how to look at the big picture. She sat down quietly beside Han Yueyao and said, Yao, let me tell you this. If it weren't for this incident, Big Brother Lin wouldn't have lived for long. You should know that his attending doctor has given him an ultimatum. He just left a little earlier. But with his illness, he'll suffer if he continues to be in a deadlock. It's good that he's gone. I hope he can be reincarnated into a good family. Xiao. Han Yueyao's voice was choked with tears. You're too tired. Lie down and rest first. I'll have a few words with my uncle. It just so happens that I want to buy a cemetery for Brother Lin in the North Mountain to be buried. All right. Seeing that Su Xiao had something to say to Su Yu, Han Yueyao nodded. Then, she lay back on the bed and continued the four-drip quietly. Su Yu and Su Xiao walked out of the ward and walked to a quiet corner of the corridor. Uncle, do you have cigarettes? Yes. Su Yu took out a box of Japanese 7-star cigarettes from his pocket. The packaging was blue and very beautiful. Su Xiao took out one and held it in her mouth skillfully. You didn't ask me out to talk about the cemetery, right? Su Yu looked at Su Xiao. You know me well. Su Xiao smiled, but her smile was obviously strange. Xiao, what do you want to do about this? Su Yu knew that Xiao had always liked the boy surnamed Lin. Chapter 43-57. What else can we do? Su Xiao took a big puff of her cigarette and coughed. Then he coughed a few times. Cough. Kill them. Kill them all. Let them be buried with my brother Lin. Su Xiao casually said such a vicious sentence. Su Yu was a little nervous. He knew that this girl was capable of doing anything. Xiao, it's the end of the year and the situation is tense. Many people have died here recently. I'll find evidence and let the police arrest Wang Kuan and those who did it. Don't worry, I won't let anyone know. To his surprise, Su Xiao glanced at Su Yu and pursed her lips. That old thing is old. What can he do if he goes to prison? Even if he's shot 100 times, he won't be able to save Brother Lin's life. Su Yu noticed that Xiao's eyes were red when she said that. Yes, it was abnormal for her to be so quiet. Xiao, don't do anything rash. The higher-ups are very nervous now. As children of high-ranking officials, we can't bring shame to our families. Shame? No, it won't happen. It won't involve the family at all. Uncle, don't interfere in this matter. Leave it to me. Xiao, Su Yu wanted to persuade her, but Su Xiao threw the cigarette butt on the ground, stomped on it, and left the hospital. Su Yu shook his head helplessly. That night, no one in Wang Kuan's mansion survived. 18 of his men died, and Wang Kuan died in a horrible way. At the same time, his concubine and son also died mysteriously. In the end, the police only thought that it was a gangster's revenge. After all, they had no clues. Only Su Yu and Han Yueyao knew that Su Xiaoxiao had offered a huge reward of 15 million yuan on the dark web. That night, 2 Vietnamese killers took the job and entered the country to kill. They were straightforward and left no traces. Han Yueyao was sick for 3 days. On the 4th day, she attended Lin Hang's funeral with the help of her agent and Su Xiaoxiao. On the day of her return, Han Yueyao's eyes were red from crying. She said to Lin Hang's close friends, "Brother Lin is gone. Brother Lin is no longer around. In the future, if you have any difficulties, you can contact me directly." "Thank you, Miss Han, but we're planning to go abroad." "Go abroad? We'll find a job as a sailor. We'll go out on a cruise ship and visit many countries. The salary is pretty good." After Brother Lin passed away, the few of us couldn't sleep at all. We miss him too much. If this goes on, we won't be able to take it anymore. That's why we want to leave this place temporarily. That's good too. Anyway, call me if you need anything. All right. Su Xiaoxiao left by plane that night and returned to the army. Then it was very quiet. There was no call or WeChat. Han Yueyao knew she was sad, but she couldn't say it. To take care of her, Su Yu gave her a week off to adjust her mood. After finishing all this, Su Yu remembered that there was still one important thing he had to do. He drove straight to South Hill Manor. However, she found that only Qin Chu was at home. He was sitting alone in the living room, eating dinner, all alone. Even though the table was filled with delicacies, there was no trace of happiness in him. "Why are you eating alone?" "I'm the only one here," Qin Chu said. "Where's Mian? By the way, I came here today to ask you where she went. She didn't reply to my WeChat messages and didn't answer my calls." Su Yu sat beside Qin Chu anxiously. His intuition told him that something had happened to the couple. "Have some with me." Qin Chu handed Su Yu a pair of chopsticks but didn't answer his question immediately. "Are you two really going to divorce? What happened? Can you tell me the truth today?" Su Yu wasn't in the mood to eat. Qin Chu looked like he was about to die from anxiety. Chapter 43-58. "Let's eat first," Qin Chu repeated. Su Yu thought, fuck. In the end, Su Yu couldn't argue with Qin Chu, so he obediently picked up his chopsticks and started eating. Qin Chu pointed at the crabs with his chopsticks. "Do you know what Mian likes to eat the most?" "Yeah, the whole world knows that she likes seafood, especially crabs." Su Yu smiled. He remembered how cute Mian used to sit there and nibble on crabs every time he asked her out for dinner. But she doesn't like to eat anymore. Do you know why? Qin Chu tilted his head and looked at Su Yu, his expression calm. "Because her tastes have changed. I think it's because this incident hurt her too much, so she's under too much pressure and no longer in the mood to eat." Su Yu never thought that Huamin's sudden dislike of seafood was abnormal. Instead, he even tried to explain it for him. "No, it's because she's not Mian at all." Qin Chu said such a huge amount of information without any warning. Su Yu almost went crazy when he heard this. He almost spat out the tea in his mouth. "What did you just say?" Su Yu asked again, unsure. "I don't repeat myself." Qin Chu gave him a proud expression. Su Yu wasn't deaf, so there was no way he didn't hear it. Qin Chu didn't bother to reply to him with the same words. Really?" Su Yu was shocked. "When did I lie?" Qin Chu glared at him. "But how is that possible?" Su Yu still felt that this incident was a bit too ridiculous. Qin Chu then told Su Yu the main point of the incident. It was reasonable. After hearing what Qin Chu said, Su Yu indeed felt that there were many things wrong with Mian after she returned from Yunnan, so it was actually a trick to swap the crown prince. Su Yu was dumbfounded as he looked at Qin Chu. "Old Qin, so you mean, since the explosion in Yunnan, Mian has already been swapped?" "That's right." Qin Chu nodded. "Layla didn't die in such a huge explosion?" Su Yu couldn't accept it. After all, Huasiqian sacrificed his life in exchange for it was a super bomb made by Huamin himself. So many people present were blown to pieces. Wuxia was the closest to Layla. Even Wuxia was blown to ashes, but Layla was fine. She even pretended to be Huamin. So, Layla looks exactly like Mian? Su Yu felt a chill run down his spine again. In Yunnan, he was the only one who didn't know Layla's true appearance. Huamin and Wuxia both knew and had seen her before. In fact, Su Yu had seen her before, but he thought it was just a dream. Now that he thought about it, it might not have been a dream. He only found out now that Layla looked exactly like Huamin. How slow was he to realize it? Yes. Qin Chu confirmed his words. I can't take it anymore. This is too much information. Su Yu put down his chopsticks and stood up, dumbfounded. Then he suddenly thought of a very, very important question. Layla didn't die in the explosion, so her identity is an American agent? She's a super-evolved high-level clone, Qin Chu answered. Su Yu, stop fooling around, old Qin. Do you think you're playing Resident Evil with us? Su Yu thought that Qin Chu was joking. However, Qin Chu had always joked with people other than Huamin. Layla is indeed a super-evolved high-level clone. She has many special abilities that are beyond ordinary people. Speed is one of them. She can be as fast as a beam of light, Qin Chu continued. Su Yu. Chapter 43-59. What Qin Chu said had completely exceeded Su Yu's imagination. After all, he had been a Special Forces soldier. He really couldn't believe what Qin Chu said. After all, Su Yu was an atheist. He had always believed in science. However, Layla was indeed a product of a perverted scientist. She was a genetically modified product of an advanced human civilization. On top of Huamin's original genes, he added too many physical strengthening elements. Back then, Linya did miss her daughter, but after researching such a monster, she was enlightened and began to create an army of clones. Now, she had turned the underwater palace into an underground kingdom. Moreover, it was a super secretive place that even the best detectors in various countries couldn't detect. Linya was indeed a genius. So was Professor Lu. So Huamin was, and so was Lu Yen, who had a quarter of Linya's genes. This whole family is almost become a ray of light. Are you sure you're not bragging? See for yourself. Qin Chu threw out a video and placed his phone in front of Su Yu. It was the video taken at the villa in the suburbs and decrypted by Qin Chu and Xiao Fei. After watching it, Su Yu's understanding of the world was refreshed again. Fuck. Even our company's special effects can't be this good. This woman is a monster. She's a monster, Qin Chu agreed. Then the most important question is, where is Mian? Only then did Su Yu realize how serious the situation was. A fake perverted Mian had lived here for so long. She had committed crimes and caused trouble for all her family and friends. Then where was the real Mian? Where did that high-end, classy, calm, witty, and sophisticated little girl go? She's at the headquarters of Layla's force. Layla has a force behind her? Su Yu finally understood. Of course. Layla is just a small fry. The force behind her is the real schemer. Is it Ian? Su Yu had heard of Ian. Even 100 Ians can't compare to him. Fuck. Then we're done for. Ian is already so difficult to deal with, let alone such a powerful person. What should we do? I should go home and talk to Grandpa to see if we can send a few Special Forces soldiers over and get some heavy weapons. Su Yu paced around anxiously. Don't bother, Lord Su. Ordinary people will die if they go, even Special Forces soldiers. See you this time? I want you to help me save Mian. Of course, Mian is also my friend. I have to save her. Su Yu patted his chest and promised. His meaning was very clear. No matter what difficulties or obstacles they faced, Huamin must be saved. On this point, Qin Chu and Su Yu reached an agreement. I have a way to find Mian's location, but I have a feeling that the master behind them is watching me, so I don't dare to act rashly. But you're different. If you charter a plane in the name of traveling, no one will suspect you. So, after I find the location, you can go and confirm it first. That's a good idea. I like it. Su Yu agreed. But Suyu, you have to remember that after you find the place, you can't act rashly. You have to observe the surrounding environment and the geographical location. After you get some accurate information, report it to me. Then, I'll think of a way to save her in time. In other words, before I get there, you can't alert them. You can't deal with them alone, Qin Chu reminded him again and again. No problem, I can do that. But what about that psycho? I think we should kill her now to vent our anger. Suyu was referring to Layla. Chapter 4360. Qin Chu looked up at Suyu. Do you think I don't want to? Suyu, if I could kill her, I wouldn't need you to tell me. Only then did Suyu catch the main point of Qin Chu's sentence. Couldn't kill her? No way. You mean that psycho can't be killed? Of course. She's already killed so many people and is running amok in this city. If I didn't know that she's capable, do you think I would have obediently put her under house arrest and not let her go to prison to await trial? You put her under house arrest? Then she obediently let you put her under house arrest? That doesn't make sense. Suyu was dumbfounded. She didn't obediently let me put her under house arrest. The video you just watched was taken while she was under house arrest. She went out to kill people or forage for food. Suyu, forage for food. If it weren't for her special identity, I would have handed her over to Gao Rant's bureau. Do you think I want to keep such a ticking time bomb? So now that she's locked up, it's like she's not locked up. No, now that I have a helper, she won't dare to act rashly. Suyu didn't ask further about Qin Chu's helper. He knew that with Qin Chu's personality, he would definitely say what he needed to say. Then, Qin Chu briefly explained Huamin's background. At least, he wanted Suyu to know who their enemy was. As expected, Suyu's worldview was refreshed once again. A biological mother had attacked her own daughter. Perhaps only Linya could do such a cruel thing in the world. Before he left, Suyu lamented, "Are all top geniuses crazy? Are they so obsessed that they don't even recognize their own family?" Qin Chu didn't answer because it wasn't absolute. Qin Chu believed that Linya was just an example. He actually thought that if he had the chance to meet Linya, he would also want to ask her. Why was he so cruel to Mion? As long as Mion didn't come back, Qin Chu would feel uneasy. Although his conversation with Suyu took place in South Hill Manor, Qin Chu used a high-precision device to block it. He knew that if these words were leaked out, it would be disastrous. Not only him, but Suyu's life would also be in danger. After Suyu learned the truth, his mood was extremely complicated. When he returned to the private villa, he saw An cooking. It was rare for An Yi to cook, so Suyu was quite surprised. "What day? Master, and you're actually cooking personally?" "President Su, please don't make fun of me. Have I not cooked enough for you over the years? How long has it been since you last did it? What's wrong with you today?" Suyu was puzzled. "Because today is the anniversary of our first meeting," and said innocently. Suyu was speechless. "Haha, I'm joking. Boss, don't look at me with that murderous gaze, okay? Did you buy all this food?" He looked at the packaging from the supermarket on the floor. There were also a lot of food, fruits, snacks, videos, beer, and drinks. It was like a New Year's shopping spree. However, looking at such meticulous purchases, it didn't seem like Anne's careless personality. "I'm not that capable. Madam came by today." "My mom?" "Yeah, she saw that you weren't here, so she put down the things and left. She also asked me to tell you to spend more time with Miss Han when you're free. Miss Han hasn't been feeling well recently and has been going to the hospital." Suyu didn't answer Anne's words. Instead, he took out a can of beer from the bag. Then he opened it and took a big gulp. Thinking about what Qin Chu had told him today, he still felt like he was in a dream. "All right, President Su, I saw a post on Weibo today about Miss Han." "What post?" Suyu slumped onto the sofa with the beer in his hand, exhausted. Chapter 4361. The internet said that the man with the surname Lin who died a few days ago was Miss Han's boyfriend. Suyu, and it's reasonable. They showed the receipt of Miss Han's medical fees at the hospital. They also showed the photos of Miss Han visiting the hospital several times. In the end, they even took photos of Miss Han attending the funeral, Xiaoan said. Su Yu, most importantly, Miss Han's condition has been bad recently. She's suffered a huge blow. She looks very haggard, so the internet is saying that Miss Han and Mr. Lin were a couple for many years. Then, in order to become famous, Miss Han abandoned her boyfriend. Her boyfriend didn't give up and sold his kidney to his girlfriend to buy resources and trending topics, helping Miss Han become famous. That's nonsense. Su Yu was furious. Yes, I know best how Miss Han became famous. I'm really angry. Those people are clearly trying to smear Miss Han's reputation, but the netizens don't understand the truth. Most of the netizens haven't left the scene resolutely. All of their opinions and departures were guided by the media. That article was so provocative that it made Miss Han out to be an ungrateful person. Now that Mr. Lin is dead, and he doesn't have a family, even if he wants to clarify things, he can't find anyone. If this goes on, it's really bad for Miss Han. And wasn't the gossipy person. When he saw this article, it was because it had been reposted too many times. Then, Han Yueyao became a trending topic a few times. And the trending topic was, Han Yueyao is ungrateful, Han Yueyao's boyfriend, Han Yueyao attends the funeral. All these negative things. Find out which media outlet did this. Lin Yichin ordered. Su Yu crushed the empty beer can in his hand. How dare they bully an artist from his company? They must be tired of living. I found it. It's Fengyue Media. Fengyue Media? Su Yu frowned slightly. And so did Su Yu. Fengyue Media was a small media company that Nie Lingxian opened herself. Actually, rather than a company, it was more like a team. It was equivalent to the interest of a studio. Those people were responsible for helping Nie Lingxian maintain her image, official Weibo, and some social media software. They would also write some advertisements to promote her popularity. In short, when it was first established, Su Yu even gave it a red packet. But now, he was shooting at his own people? This made Su Yu a little unhappy. Seeing that Su Yu didn't say anything, and said carefully, Mr. Su, do you think Miss Nie is jealous and thinks there's something going on between you and Miss Han, I don't think so. She's never done anything despicable to her competitors. I don't think she'd do anything to Han Yueyao. But it's from Fengyue Media. This article is going viral on Weibo. The number of reposts and readers is huge. If this continues, Miss Han's image will collapse. I'll ask her later. Su Yu lowered his head. No one knew what he was thinking. Just as they finished talking, the doorbell rang, and was a little puzzled. Could it be that Madam is here again and wants to have dinner with you? And walked to the door of the villa and opened it. Then he was stunned. It was Han Yueyao. She looked haggard, wore no makeup, and had long hair. She was wearing a black leather jacket and a pair of black leggings. In her hand was a black LV suitcase. Miss Han, you're... and was confused. And is President Su here? Yes. And hurriedly invited Han Yueyao in. Chapter 4362. Su Yu was surprised to see Han Yueyao. Why are you here? Didn't I give you a day off? Su Yu stood up, a little worried. He thought Han Yueyao was affected by the negative news. President Su, I'm here to say goodbye to you. Han Yueyao's voice was hoarse. It was obvious that she hadn't been living well these days. Goodbye? Where are you going? Su Yu was puzzled. It wasn't the spring festival yet. Was she going home so early? Or was she going on a trip? Home. It's not the spring festival yet. I want to go back and spend more time with my parents. Why don't I book a plane ticket and a hotel for you? You can take your parents on a trip to the Maldives or Bali to relax. Su Yu knew that Han Yueyao had been blaming herself for Lin Hang's death and couldn't get over it. No need. I just want to go home and stay quietly. Okay. When are you leaving? I'll ask him to drive you to the airport. I'll go to the airport in a while. So soon? Su Yu froze again. No one could stop this girl's temper. President Su, there's something else I want to talk to you about. Okay. Every time Han Yueao said these words so seriously, Su Yu felt a little uncomfortable. She was still used to the days of arguing with her. And pricked up his ears. With his years of experience, he guessed that Han Yueao was going to confess to Su Yu openly. She wanted an answer. In fact, Su Yu was also nervous. He was afraid that Han Yueao would confess to him. That would be awkward. But this time, both Su Yu and An were wrong. Han Yueao said calmly. She said, "President Su, I'm a little tired. I want to rest." "Okay, no problem. Didn't I give you a break?" Su Yu didn't quite understand. I think I'm tired. I don't want to be a celebrity anymore." "This? What do you mean?" Su Yu had a bad feeling about this. "President Su, I'm sorry. I'm so disappointing. I can't hold on any longer." Miss Han and heard something and wanted to say something to dissuade her. But Han Yueao interrupted him. "I wanted to debut myself. You've always helped me and supported me, no matter what others said. So, I'm really grateful to you for what I am today. Don't say such meaningless things. Get to the point." Su Yu said word by word as he looked at her. "President Su, I want to leave the industry." "What? Miss Han, are you crazy? Do you know what your status is now? Do you know what the experts in the entertainment industry say about you? They say that you're the artist with the most potential and future since Imperial Star was founded, and the actress with the most commercial value and talent in acting." And was excited because a few days ago, when he helped Su Yu get the information, he accidentally flipped through it. Only then did he realize that many famous international brands were interested in hiring Han Yueao as their spokesperson. There were cosmetics, clothes, jewelry, and watches. This was an honor that many celebrities couldn't achieve even after working for their entire lives. Han Yueao had only achieved it in half a year. Now, she wanted to leave the industry with just a few words. And felt that she was so stupid that she didn't even want money. Chapter 4363. I know. That's why I said I'm sorry, President Su. President Su, I don't want my salary. I've troubled you a lot recently. I don't want the car or anything that belongs to the company. But I might not be able to return the money you lent me because I used it to treat Lin Hang's illness. Su Yu didn't speak. He just sighed slightly and looked at her. Han Yueao continued, "If you want to sue me for breach of contract, I can. But you know I don't have much money. Even if I win the lawsuit, I might not be able to return the money. But if you're unwilling, I can go to jail for a few years. After all, I brought this upon myself." Han Yueao bit her lip. She was a dancer and had been an artist for more than half a year. She didn't know much about the law. That was why she said such unprofessional words. Hearing this, Su Yu wanted to hit her. "Are you done? In your mind, I'm that kind of person. I'll sue you and send you to jail if I don't get the money? Am I that bad?" Su Yu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "Okay, stop talking nonsense. I'll take it that you're being impulsive. You want to go home? Okay, go back and rest. Come back whenever you want. Maybe you'll think it through after the new year when you're bored at home." "I've thought about it for a long time. I'm not being impulsive. Su Yu, listen to me." Han Yueao put down the luggage in her hand and looked at Su Yu with a complicated expression. She couldn't describe her feelings. She felt guilty, self-reproach, aggrieved, and even sad. "President Su, I didn't really like being a celebrity in the past. I told you before that I thought it was easy to make money in this industry, so I wanted my parents to live a better life. However, I was too naive. After all, my social experience was too shallow, so I didn't see the dark side of things. I've been in the company for so long, and I've been safe and sound all this time because you've secretly taken care of me. Otherwise, those directors, producers, and investors wouldn't have let me off so easily. I know all of that. Miss Han, you know President Su has done so much to promote you. Why are you giving up so easily?" And looked a little exasperated. "You might say that even if Brother Lin didn't save me, he would have died of illness. But I want to say that they're two different things. Dying of illness is still death, but Brother Lin was stabbed in the hospital. He doesn't have parents anymore. Now he has to die in such a tragic way. I can't take it anymore. You're not involved and will never know how much I've been carrying. President Su, I'm really tired. I think I finally understand that I'm just an ordinary woman. An ordinary woman. I don't want to pretend to be a superstar. Maybe I'm only fit to be an ordinary woman for the rest of my life. Then she looked at Su Yu with tears in her eyes. At that moment, Su Yu's feelings became even more complicated. He understood her words. To be honest, his heart ached for this little girl. Chapter 4364. President Su, and couldn't understand Han Yueyao's willfulness. Even the super-rich Su Yu had to spend a lot of money to make a newcomer popular. Not to mention money, Su Yu had never lacked it. However, Su Yu had put in a lot of effort into networking and resources. Su Yu didn't like Han Yueyao and had never accepted her confession. However, Su Yu was sincere in helping her, whether it was because of her good character or because of Huamin. In short, Su Yu had done more for Han Yueyao than she could see. But now, the girl suddenly said that she wanted to leave the industry, which made him feel bad. He felt that everything his boss had done was in vain. Hearing that An was about to speak, Su Yu reached out and gestured to him, and immediately swallowed his words. Su Yu walked over and looked at Han Yueyao. Although I can't empathize with what you're thinking, I understand. I really do. I respect your decision. I won't ask you to compensate me or Su Yu. I'll get the company to pay you tomorrow. I still have the same words, you're welcome to come back whenever you want. President Su. Han Yueyao's eyes were red. The entertainment industry is stressful to begin with. I know Lin Hang's death has changed your mentality a lot. These accidents are inevitable. Xiao has already avenged him. You should get over the trauma as soon as possible, okay? Okay, I'll ask him to drive you to the airport. President Su, can you drive me there? Han Yueyao asked Su Yu to drive her. Su Yu froze for a moment before nodding. Sure. Do you want to leave now or take a break and drink something? Is it too late? Su Yu looked at his watch. No, let's go now. Okay. Su Yu nodded and put on the jacket on the sofa. President Su, drive slowly. It's snowing today and the road is very slippery, and reminded worriedly. Well, if you're hungry at home, get yourself something to eat. Su Yu reached out and snatched the luggage from her hand. Like a man, he helped him carry it, and the two of them left the house one after the other, and was filled with emotions. When they were far away, and was still muttering in the living room, Miss Han is still a child. She's too capricious. President Su spent hundreds of millions on her and thought she'd be the queen of Imperial Star for the next 5 years. Unfortunately, this girl is really, Xiaoan shook his head. Su Yu probably didn't want to be so high profile and didn't want to be photographed by the media. Therefore, he drove the Phaeton out of the garage, which he rarely drove. The Phaeton was really the most low-key luxury car. This was because the exterior of the car looked like a Volkswagen Speedster, magenta Passat that filled the streets. However, the interior decoration was extremely luxurious. This car was given to Su Yu by someone in the past. In Su Yu's own words, there was nothing wrong with his brain. How could he spend millions on such a car? But he didn't expect to use it today. After they got into the car, Su Yu thought that Han Yueyao would sit in the passenger seat. But she didn't. She opened the back door and sat in the back seat. This way, she would be able to distance herself from Su Yu. Su Yu still didn't say anything. After getting into the car, the two of them drove out of the neighborhood. Su Yu's place wasn't far from the airport's highway, so they quickly got on the highway. After about 5 minutes of silence, Han Yueyao couldn't help but say, President Su, if I leave this time and never come back, will you miss me? Chapter 4365. Su Yu held the steering wheel steadily and looked ahead. After about 10 seconds, he answered. He smiled. It's okay. It's not far away. When I miss you, I can go to Jing City to find you. I'm not joking. I'm serious. Su Yu, I don't want to come back. There's nothing here for me to miss. Su Yu was a little embarrassed. He wanted to say something to comfort her, but he didn't know what to say. Han Yueyao lowered her head and intertwined her hands. It was obvious that she was feeling very complicated. She seemed to be struggling internally. Perhaps he felt that if this continued, it would only be awkward, so Su Yu played a song. It was really random. He had never driven this car before, so he didn't know what songs were on it. He had only borrowed it a few times from his friends, so he chose a random song. It was an old song, Li Zongxing's Obsessed. The old song and Li Zongxing's hoarse voice came from the stereo. In this night, there was a sense of time travel. I once thought that life was like this. The calm heart refuses to have any more waves. The love thread that has been cut 1,000 times can't be broken after 100 twists and turns. It revolves around me. Someone asked me what's so good about you after so many years. I still can't forget. No matter how beautiful the spring breeze is, it can't compare to your smile. Those who haven't seen you won't understand. It's good that I'm obsessed. It's good that I got married in my previous life. Su Yu was very emotional when he heard this song. Once, he was singing with a few rich second-generation airs. There was a man who sang this song. When he saw the lyrics, Su Yu felt that this song was tailor-made for him. Wasn't that how he felt about Mian? He had indeed been obsessed with Huamin for many years. Han Yueyao seemed to know what Su Yu was thinking. She slowly said, "President Su, when you fell in love with Sister Mian back then, didn't it feel magical and wonderful?" Su Yu didn't avoid it and only smiled. "Yeah, I still remember that scene. Back then, Mian was just a doctor at Southside, and I was hospitalized for a fracture." Han Yueyao continued, "It's said that the one who is loved is happy, but that's not the case. The one you love is also happy because there are many people in the world who haven't met someone they love to death. So, you're lucky to have met Sister Mian." "Yeah, Mian has always been lucky. Su Yu, do you know how much I envy you for being able to protect Sister Mian for the rest of your life? I even thought about protecting you for the rest of my life, just like how you protect Sister Mian." Han Yueyao said the blunt words calmly. Su Yu froze for a moment, and his heart seemed to beat faster. Then Han Yueyao continued, "Later, I realized how overconfident I was. You can protect Sister Mian because you have the capital and power. You can stand up for her at any time and do everything you can to help her. As for me, other than saying that I love you and want to protect you for the rest of my life, I'm fucking useless. I have no money, no background, no good father. I don't have a huge network. Even Lin's death was caused by Xiaoxiao. So, Su Yu, what right do I have to love and protect you?" Han Yueyao sat in the back seat with tears streaming down her face. Su Yu didn't dare to look at her in the rearview mirror. From her voice, he knew she was crying very, very hard. Chapter 4366. Yao Yao. Su Yu rarely called her so intimately, afraid that she would misunderstand. But now, Han Yueyao was crying so miserably. Even if Su Yu had a heart of stone, he couldn't stand it anymore. He wanted to say something to comfort the crying girl. But Han Yueyao didn't give Su Yu a chance. "Su Yu, don't say anything. Listen to me." "Okay, go ahead." Su Yu lowered the volume of the stereo as he drove. Han Yueyao took a tissue and wiped her tears. She continued, "I used to think that the female artists of Imperial Star were vulgar. Of all people, why did they like Su Yu? Isn't he just rich? Is he a son of a high-ranking official? Does he like to show off and show off? Later, I realized that I'm as shallow as them. I also fell in love with you, who likes to show off. Of course, people who don't know you will only see the surface. Only after they really get to know you will they know how good you are. At first, I was quite impulsive and wanted to try if I could confess to you successfully. Although the probability was as ridiculous as winning the lottery, I still wanted to try. Later, I didn't say anything. I knew I couldn't say it. After seeing everything you did for Sister Mian, bit by bit. After seeing everything she did for you, I suddenly felt that I didn't deserve you. I didn't deserve to like you. It has nothing to do with family background or money. It's just that you're good. Sometimes I think that if President Qin didn't exist before, Sister Mian would definitely accept your love. Unfortunately, there are no ifs in life." Su Yu smiled bitterly. He had long stopped asking for Mian's response. He only wanted Mion to be safe for the rest of her life. It wasn't that he was magnanimous, but he sincerely hoped that she could live peacefully in his sight. Being good friends for life was also a very happy thing. Yeah, there are no ifs in life. If I hadn't come to this city, if I hadn't met Xiao and Big Brother Lin, none of this would have happened. If I hadn't entered your company, I wouldn't have become a celebrity. If I hadn't met you, I wouldn't have fallen deeply in love with you. But to me, all of these are precious memories. Really, Su, I think? I won't forget you, never. But I really won't step foot on this land again. You are too tired, Yao, you should rest well. She wanted to say something but found they had arrived at the airport. She suddenly realized that the time she spent with Su Yu was always so short. We're here. Su Yu parked the car. All right. She got out of the car with her simple luggage. Su Yu followed her but was stopped by Han Yueyao. You can go back. I'll escort you through the security check. It's okay. I'll leave by myself. Don't send me off. Please don't. She didn't like parting scenes, so she refused Su Yu's escort. Seeing Han Yueyao insist, Su Yu didn't force her. Okay then. Take care. Call me if you need anything. If you think it through and want to come back, call me too. Imperial Star isn't a kindergarten, but you're welcome at any time. Su Yu's half-joking words lifted Han Yueyao's mood. She smiled, pursed her lips, and said shyly, Su Yu, I want to hug you. She thought Su Yu would refuse, but as soon as she finished speaking, she felt a warm figure pouncing on her and hugging her tightly. At that moment, Han Yueyao was so touched that she wanted to cry. It turned out that being hugged by the person she liked was such a happy thing. Chapter 4367. It didn't matter if it was Han Yueyao or Su Yu. Neither of them expected that this would be the last time they would meet. They would never have such a chance again. Fate was sometimes something that could be said to be deep or shallow. It came and went quickly. Hearing Han Yueyao's words, Su Yu turned around and walked out of the airport. Han Yueyao carried her luggage and walked towards the door with tears in her eyes. She didn't wear a mask, didn't have an assistant or agent. From now on, there was no more superstar Han Yueyao, only dance teacher Han Yueyao. After returning to Jing City, Han Yueyao had decided to find a dance school and become a teacher. She wanted to live an ordinary life and be an ordinary person. After Su Yu left the airport, he didn't leave. Instead, he sat in the car. He didn't say anything and just stared blankly for a while until Han Yueyao's plane flew across the sky. Su Yu was actually a very smart person. He knew who liked him and could tell. He had long known Han Yueyao's feelings for him, but he pretended not to know. He also knew that if he asked her to stay and agreed to be with Han Yueyao, the girl wouldn't leave. This young lady must not leave. Perhaps the two of them could even have a flash marriage or something. But this wasn't Su Yu's style. I don't love you, so I definitely won't hold you back or drag you down. The older he got, the more he understood the true meaning of love. When Su Yu looked at Han Yueyao, he only felt that the girl was lively and cute, but he didn't feel his heart racing or his body electrified. But if he took out Huamin's photo, he would immediately feel different. Therefore, he decided to follow his heart. Since he had been willful all these years, he might as well be willful to the end. After the plane left, Su Yu drove back to the mansion, and even made some frozen dumplings for supper. Boss, you're back. I just cooked the dumplings. I'm not eating. Su Yu was a little listless. He took off his jacket and fell onto the sofa. What's wrong? Did your heart become empty after Big Yao Yao left? And smiled cheekily. Su Yu raised his hand, and in thought that his boss was going to hit him. In the end, she found that he only reached out and touched the back of his head. He's already gone. Stop spreading rumors. Boss, Big Yao Yao is so nice. Why didn't you say yes to her? Even an idiot like me can tell that she asked you to send her to the airport to create a chance between the two of you. You actually sent her away. Are you really that stupid or just pretending to be stupid? Shoo, don't talk nonsense. I'm not talking nonsense. Seriously, Yao Yao is really good. Even if she doesn't want to be a celebrity and feels pressured, you can keep her and let her work behind the scenes. Even if she doesn't do anything, you can support her. I see that Madam likes her a lot. I'm still hoping that the two of you can have some chemistry. I was thinking that I could hold a grandson or something soon. Look at you. Didn't you completely mess it up? She's already back in her hometown. How can you still flirt with her? At this time, Xiaoan was like Tang Sanzang nagging Suyu. Chemistry? Stop nagging. She's gone. Besides, it's good that she's gone. How can I keep her? I might not give her happiness. You have money, status, and looks. If you can't give her happiness, who else can? Who else is qualified to give her happiness? Xiaoan's words were really the rhythm of flattery. Chapter 4368. I might have to go on a long trip soon. Suyu didn't want to continue discussing Han Yueyao with him, so he suddenly said that he was going out. Where are you going? I don't know where exactly. Suyu thought that Qin Chu hadn't told him the location. But you're going with me. I don't trust anyone else, okay? And made an okay gesture. Don't tell my mom, Suyu reminded him again. I understand. After Han Yueyao left, Suyu was a little disappointed, not because of anything else but because it was a pity. Han Yueyao was a talented actress and was very popular. Now that she was leaving, the penalty alone would be astronomical. But Suyu didn't say this. Han Yueyao had made a lot of money for the company during this time. The next morning, he went to the company and ordered the finance department to prepare Han Yueyao's report. The finance director personally brought Han Yueyao's financial situation to the office. President Su, Han Yueyao has made 150 million yuan for the company in the past 6 months. But if she leaves the entertainment industry now, she'll have to pay 80 million yuan for the penalty alone. Isn't there still 70 million yuan left? Suyu said. But our company invested 68 million yuan just to promote her. Suyu was speechless. So there's only 2 million yuan left. The 2 million yuan doesn't include the salary of her team. Normally, her team, agent, and assistant should be paid by her, not our company. Forget it, forget it. Let's not argue about this. How about this, Ju? Find Han Yueyao's bank card and transfer 5 million yuan to her. 5 million yuan? Isn't it 2 million yuan? The finance director thought he had heard wrong. I don't want to calculate the details with her. She has done a lot for the company in the past 6 months. Consider it a personal gift from me. After you transfer the money, tell her that this is the remaining money after the company's settlement. Okay. The finance director sincerely thought that President Su was a good person. They had never docked any employee's salary, not even Jian Tong or Mo Shui. Even when he fell out with him, he did not deliberately pick a fight with him over money. There were not many bosses like him. President Su, Han Yueyao left just like that? Who's going to support Imperial Star now? Although she was in charge of finance, she was still quite worried when she saw such a money tree leave. Didn't little Nye come back? Tell the public relations department. From today onwards, we'll do everything we can to promote little Nye's comeback. All right. GK headquarters. 3 days later, Qin Chu received a call from Xiaoling and drove to Xiaoling and her mother-in-law's residence. After entering the house, she found that the room was a little dark and the curtains were closed. Big brother Qin Chu, don't be afraid. My grandma is doing a ritual. Qin Chu sat quietly on the side. Granny was still wearing shabby clothes and her hair was white. First, she placed a doll on the table. Then, it began to mumble some unknown incantation. Then, Granny bit her middle finger and ring finger and dripped the blood on the doll. Then, she began to mumble another incantation. Then, a magical scene appeared. White smoke began to emit from the doll's body as if it was about to catch fire. Big brother Qin Chu, this is a ritual made from the things on the monster's body. My grandma has been drawing charms inside and outside the doll's stomach for 2 or 3 days. Now we can control her. After Xiaoling said this, Qin Chu immediately took out his phone and looked at the surveillance footage of the villa from afar. Layla was lying in the living room, rolling on the ground and howling. White smoke was faintly coming out of her stomach. Chapter 4369. At that moment, Qin Chu felt a chill run down his spine. Witchcraft was so powerful, she could remotely control the person she wanted to control. After watching Granny do the same thing, she tapped lightly. The doll stopped moving. Is she dead? Qin Chu stood up anxiously. No, she's just in a deep coma because of my spell. She lost consciousness. In this case, she can't go out and harm people for the time being. No matter how capable she is, how fast she is, or how much strength she has, she can only sleep quietly like a living dead. That's great. Qin Chu seemed to finally be relieved. Then, he sent a WeChat message to Gao Ran. Old Gao, Layla is under my control. You don't have to worry about murder cases for now. Old Tai, it's safe. I finally don't have to work overtime tonight. Gao Ran was naturally very grateful. Then, Granny stood up, looking a little haggard. Granny, are you okay? Every time my grandma casts a spell, she'll be exhausted. She'll be fine after some rest, Ling said and poured a cup of tea for her grandma. The old lady sat beside Qin Chu. Little Qin, I'm going to give you the same heart voodoo later and help you find your wife. Thank you for your hard work, Granny. Qin Chu was very grateful for Granny's help. You don't have to be so polite with me. There are just a few things that I have to tell you in advance. The same heart voodoo is very domineering. When it swims in your body, it will hurt so much that it corrodes your heart and bones. You might have to suffer some physical pain. That's not a problem, Granny. Do as you please, Qin Chu said firmly. To him, not to mention enduring a bit of pain, even if it took his life, he was willing to do so. As long as Mian could come back, Granny nodded and continued, there's also one more thing. Once the same heart voodoo is used, your lives will be connected. If you die, she dies. If you live, she lives. Qin Chu did not expect this result. All he wanted was for Mian to live well. If they were connected, what if something happened to him in the future? The more Qin Chu thought about it, the more confused he became. Granny continued, so you have to think it through. Grandma, is there any other way? Qin Chu asked her. What do you mean? It's the kind of method where my wife can continue to live after I die. I don't want her to take any risks. Qin Chu spoke his mind. No, this is the only way. All right. Qin Chu nodded. Granny continued, forgive me for being presumptuous, but all these years, was your wife your only woman? Was she the only one who had intimate contact with him? Grandma's question was vague, but Qin Chu was smart enough to understand it. Yes, Granny. I only have one woman, my wife. I've only touched her. Then that's easy. You don't have to be afraid. After you find your wife, both of you will bite your fingers and drink the blood in each other's body. The parasite will naturally crawl out. That's the way to cure the parasite poison. You must remember that. Yes, I'll remember it, Grandma. Very good. Let's begin. The old lady finished the tea in her bowl and stood up slightly. Grandma, you must be tired from casting the spell. You should rest more. Qin Chu couldn't bear to torture the old lady. It's fine. I also hope you can find your wife quickly. Qin Chu nodded gratefully. Ling, bring me the world map. I want to do an accurate location analysis, Granny ordered. Yes, Grandma. Chapter 4370. On the other side of the earth, in the underwater palace, the baby was due, but it was still motionless. This made Huamin restless. She was under house arrest in the White Room, and her mood was extremely irritable. I want to see Linya. Huamian ran to the door, opened the door, and said to the expressionless maid in a white dress, I'm sorry. I want to see Linya. Did you hear me? Huamin shouted. At this moment, Messiah walked over. Miss Mian, what's wrong? Messiah. I'm due, but the baby isn't moving in my stomach. I'm a little scared. Is the baby in danger? It was said that pregnant women were emotional and sensitive. Huamin was an authoritative doctor in the gynecology and obstetrics department. He often saw children who were due later than expected. The longest time was when a woman was 15 days pregnant. It was all normal. Natural childbirth was like a ripe melon falling off. Waiting for the baby to move, the water would either break or bleed. These weren't big problems, but when it was his turn, he would panic. Min had forgotten that he was a doctor and had learned obstetrics. Miss Minth, don't worry. How about this, if you trust me? I'll take you to do an ultrasound, okay? Ultrasound? Do you have one here? Min was surprised. After being here for so long, Linya had never taken her to do an ultrasound. Yes, we do. Messiah didn't seem to want to say too much. She only asked Min if he was willing to go. Then I'll go with you. I want to see if the baby is okay. How many days has it been, Miss Mion? Including today, it's been 12 days. Min frowned slightly. 12 days? It's been a long time. Don't worry, follow me. Messiah gently comforted Mion. She supported her and led her through the long corridor to a spacious room. Min was surprised to find that the tunnel was always changing. Every time they walked, it was different. Although they all looked the same, the destination was different. Some went to the main hall, Linya's room, and the place where he had dinner with Xiao Yan and his father that day. Min had such a good memory, but he still got lost here. She knew that there was something strange going on, however, Min didn't ask further. Even if he did, Messiah wouldn't say much. Min was surprised when he entered the room. It was like a complete obstetrics clinic with all kinds of equipment. And they were all the most advanced. There were a few pieces of equipment that she had only seen in photos. They were all medical equipment with sky-high prices. She heard that they were newly developed this year. But Linya actually had both. Messiah, why is Linya doing this? Is there a pregnant woman here? Mion curiously touched the equipment she was familiar with. Messiah only casually denied it. She was still unwilling to say more about too many things. Miss Minth, please lie down. I'll make it for you. I'll do it myself. Although Min knew that Messiah had never hurt him, he was still worried and wanted to do the scan himself. Then he would print out the results, sure. Messiah smiled and turned on the ultrasound machine. She handed it to Min. This was probably the most advanced ultrasound machine. There was no need to apply that cold ointment. It used a round disc in the shape of a shower head to slowly swim against her stomach. It was like a suction cup. Min let go of his hand. The thing slowly swam around on its own. It was very magical. Suddenly, the little guy in her stomach moved. Chapter 4371. Oh, you scared me. Min was a little nervous. The little guy must have heard the noise and was woken up. Messiah said with a smile. Min heaved a sigh of relief when he saw that the baby was fine. He fell asleep just now. Look at how cute he is. Can you see what he looks like? Min was pleasantly surprised. Yes, this color ultrasound is combined with the four-dimensional camera. I can clearly see the baby's appearance. Does he have an umbilical cord around his neck? Min was a little worried. Not at all. He's very smart. He protects himself very well. Min smiled. I'll print it out for you. Okay, and the photo? I want to see it too. When Messiah showed Min the photo of the little guy's brain, tears welled up in her eyes. He's so ugly. Min was actually very happy and sweet. How is he ugly? He's very beautiful. He looks a little like you. He's ugly if he looks like me. How nice would it be if he looked like Dad? Min sighed. But didn't they say that daughters look like their fathers and sons look like their mothers? Yes, that's the case in China. Min looked at the photo and held it carefully as if it was his treasure. Miss Mion, don't worry now. Let's go out. There's radiation here. I'm afraid it's not good for the baby. Messiah accompanied Mion back to the room. There was no night or day here. Ever since Min came, he had never gone out and seen the sun. Fortunately, there was a clock in the room, so he could tell the time and calculate the time. On the way back, Messiah helped Mion to the door. She saw Linya standing there. She was wearing a white crystal dress. She was always as beautiful as a goddess, so distant. Messiah hurriedly bowed. Min looked at her warily. Where did you go? Linya smiled fakely. Master, it's Miss Mion. Messiah wanted to explain, But before she could finish, a slap landed on her face. This was the first time Huamin had seen Linya fight. She was very fast, just like Layla. Before he could see clearly, there were 2 palm prints on Messiah's face. Moreover, looking at the mark, it seemed that he had used a lot of force. Otherwise, it wouldn't be so red and swollen. Did I ask you? Who asked you to blabber? Since when did you become so bold? In an instant, Linya returned to her original position. It was as if nothing had happened. My lord, this subordinate knows his mistake. Messiah quickly knelt down. She was terrified. This was also the first time Huamin had seen Linya lose her temper. She was simply too temperamental. Why did you hit Messiah? I asked her to bring me there. Huamin blamed himself and stood in front of Messiah, afraid that she would be slapped by Linya again. If a servant is disobedient, I naturally have to teach her a lesson. Mian, did you do an ultrasound? How is it? What does the baby look like? Let me see. Linya smiled and reached out her hand to Huamin. Do you still care about this? Of course, he's my little grandson. For some reason, every time Linya smiled or spoke gently, Huamin felt exceptionally strange. You don't have to worry. Do you have anything else to say? If not, please go back. I'm going to bed. Huamin didn't want to continue talking to Linya. Chapter 4372. However, Linya didn't seem to have any intention of leaving. Instead, she beckoned with her hand. Huamin threw the baby photo in his hand towards Linya. It was like a scene from a supernatural movie. Linya picked up the photo and looked at it before looking at Huamin. Not bad. The little guy looks like you. Although he's not that good-looking, he's quite good-looking. You missed your due date, right? Does it have anything to do with you? Of course it does. Linya, either let me go or kill me. What kind of person are you to put me under house arrest like this? You even put Dad and Yen under house arrest. You're a demoness. Miss Mian, don't say it. Messiah knelt on the ground and kept tugging at Huamin's skirt, reminding him not to anger Linya like this. It's okay. Let her say it. I'm willing to listen. Linya waved her hand. She didn't seem to mind Huamin saying such vicious words. Linya, you keep saying that you care about me, your biological daughter, and your grandson. Then let me go and let Dad and Yen go. If you're willing to stop, I believe they'll forgive you. The 4 of us can live a good life together. Let go of your legend of immortality, okay? Huamin didn't expect to persuade Linya to give up her great cause with just a few words. However, she wanted to give it a try. It was better than not saying anything. If Linya wasn't so stubborn, she might really be willing to give it a try and accept her, even though she wasn't likable. Go on, go on. Linya looked at Huamin with interest with a smile on her face that no one could see through. Huamin pointed at the baby photo. He's just a little life. He was about to be born safely, but because of the psycho you created, Layla, an explosion in Yunnan, he and I almost died. Look at you. How could you kill your own daughter? I'm afraid there's no mother like you in the world. I used to think that since Dad loved you so much, you should be a very good woman. In Yan's and my memories, you were perfect. How could you be like this? Mian, what do you think is the most important thing in your life? Money, status, ability, and power? Linya asked her. No, my family is the most important thing in my life. But they will die eventually. Once they're all dead, what will you have left? Humans have their limits. They will die sooner or later. They will die, and so will I. Dying, isn't this a very normal thing? But what if Mommy can keep you alive? Is this what you mean by immortality? Huamin asked. He still felt that it was nonsense. Mian, asked Messiah, how old is she? Linya looked at Huamin and then at Messiah, who was kneeling on the ground. Huamin tilted his head and looked at Messiah. Auntie Messiah, how old are you? Huamin trusted this maid a little. After interacting with her for the past few days, he found that she was actually a very gentle person. Messiah didn't dare to speak. Her fingers trembled slightly. Messiah, tell her the truth. It's okay. She'll know sooner or later. Miss Mian, I was born in 1836. After Messiah said this, Huamin burst out laughing. Any Messiah, stop fooling around, okay? Miss Mian, I'm not fooling around. You were born in 1836, so it's 2017. Doesn't that mean you're 181 years old? Huamin found it funny, but as she laughed, she felt that something was wrong. Messiah and Linya didn't find it funny. Instead, they looked at her seriously. Chapter 4373. Mian, do you think it's funny? But it's not a joke. Whether you believe it or not, it's true. That's impossible. According to the Guinness Book of World Records, the longest lifespan of a human is 130 or 140 years old. How can you be 181 years old? You don't look like one at all. You don't have any wrinkles on your face. Aunt Messiah looks like she's only 40 years old. Huamin immediately denied this. Miss Mian, I swear on my life. I swear to you that what I said is true. If I lie to you, I'll die a horrible death. Aunt Messiah, I've always trusted you. You can't lie to me like this. I'm not a 3-year-old child. Messiah didn't lie to you. When I picked her up, she was indeed 39 years old. She was almost beaten to death by her black husband when he was drunk. I saved her, so she's been with me ever since. Wait, you said you saved her? Huamin sneered. Linya nodded. Which year? 1875, Linya and Messiah said in unison. Messiah continued, I'll never forget the summer of 1875. I thought I was going to die. Finn smashed my head with a beer bottle. I felt pain all over my body, and the ground was covered in blood. Master saved me and helped me kill Finn. Then, Linya, how old are you? Huamin felt like he could hear his own heartbeat. Messiah said that she was born in 1836 and was 181 years old. Linya saved the 39-year-old Messiah in 1875. Then, something terrifying happened. How old was Linya? After Huamin asked the question, Messiah didn't dare to speak. She cautiously glanced at her lord. She did not know what her lord meant. Was she willing to tell Huamin her real age? Linya only paused for 5 seconds. Then she smiled at Huamin and said, Mian, I'm sorry. Mian, I was born in 1665. Haha, so you're 352 years old this year? Huamin was amused. It was as if this was the funniest thing he had ever heard in his life. Linya remained silent. Huamin continued, if it's 1665 AD, we're still in the Qing dynasty. Linya, don't tell me you're from the Qing dynasty. Did you transmigrate to modern times? You've read too many novels, Mian. I didn't transmigrate. I've lived for a long time. Master, there's too much information. Let's tell Miss Mian slowly. I'm afraid she won't be able to handle it. Messiah seemed to have some concerns. However, Linya remained calm. Mian is very smart. She only needs to think about it to know what's going on. Huamin looked at the two of them and smiled. Are you done with your story? If you're done, I'm going back to sleep. With that, Huamin walked towards his room. Mian. Linya suddenly called out to her. Huamin stopped in his tracks. I was indeed born in 1665 AD. In 1665 AD, which is the 4th year of Kangxi's reign, on the 2nd day of March, I was born in a manor in the suburbs near the capital. I was the only child in my family because my siblings before me all died within a month of birth. In order to save my life, my parents, who are your grandparents, carried me to a nearby Daoist temple and begged the famous Daoist priest Bai He to write a talisman for me to save my life. Linya, your story is very melodramatic. I don't want to hear it. Huamin said contemptuously. Chapter 4374. Faced with Huamin's disrespect and contempt, Linya still smiled faintly. Mian, if you think it's a melodramatic story, then treat it as a story. I remember that in the year I was born, 1665 AD, your grandma told me that in March of that year, there was a large-scale earthquake near the capital. At that time, technology wasn't as advanced yet, and everyone was terrified. Several parts of the solid city walls even collapsed. At the same time, There was a violent storm, and the walls and houses collapsed. Everyone fled, and even the Kangxi Emperor and the Empress Dowager evacuated to the suburbs and lived in temporary tents. They were afraid that there would be aftershocks. In that era, people were always superstitious. After I learned a lot from my master in the Daoist temple, I understood that it was actually the rulers of the Qing dynasty who killed people indiscriminately and committed too many sins. They inhumanely slaughtered the Han people. That's why the disaster fell from the sky, but the ones who suffered were the common people. Linya, if you were really born in 1665, then you're more than 300 years old now. You're still alive. And you're not old. Then, are you a monster? Did you eat the flesh of Tang Seng? Or did you eat the longevity pill that was buried with Emperor Qin? Huamin felt that this matter was too ridiculous, so he asked this question in a mocking tone. Linya smiled again. However, she didn't continue this topic. She gently placed the ultrasound photo in Huamin's hand. Was it a psychological effect? Every time Huamin touched Linya's fingers, he felt a bone-chilling coldness without any human warmth. Therefore, Huamin once suspected that Linya was a clone. She wasn't the real deal. After all, after coming here, he had seen too many mysteries. Even Huasiqian, who had been blown to pieces, could be revived by Linya. What couldn't a monster like her do? Huamin held the photo. He lowered his head and didn't look at Linya. He hated seeing her face. The baby won't be waiting for long. Mommy is looking forward to the arrival of my grandson. Haha, are you trying to get my child again? Huamin sneered. How can you think of your mother like that? I really like this baby. Huamin didn't want to argue with Linya anymore. He went straight into the room and slammed the door. Outside, Master, you told Miss Mion? Messiah didn't expect it to be so sudden. Her master had told her everything. Messiah had even forgotten how long she had lived with her master in this world. Everyone wants to live forever. After Mion figures it out, she'll come and beg me. After all, no one wants to die or grow old. But men can keep changing, right? Linya's smile was eerie and terrifying as she walked away. City Qinchu was in the room where Granny and Xiao Ling lived, waiting for Granny to plant a goo worm on him. He had thought that it would be an earth-shattering event. When he saw his grandmother come out with a black box the size of a matchbox, Qinchu realized that he had thought too much. It wasn't as ridiculous as what was shown on TV, nor was it as mysterious as what was written in those supernatural novels. Little Qin, sit down cross-legged. Yes, Granny. In a while, I'll put the goo worm into your body. No matter how painful or uncomfortable it is, don't move. Goo worms like the one-heart goo are extremely timid. I'm afraid that if you move too much, you'll scare it away. Once it enters your body and comes out, if it sees light, it'll turn into ashes. And after so many years, I only have one goo worm. So, it's now or never. Unexpectedly, Granny was so old, but her logic and thinking were extremely clear. Qinchu nodded and sat down cross-legged as Granny said. Chapter 4375. Little Qin. Yes, Granny. Close your eyes. Qinchu closed his eyes in complete trust and sat cross-legged on a cushion on the floor of the living room. The mat was filled with dense runes and incantations. Ling, bring me some water. Granny instructed. Then, Ling brought out a bowl of water. Granny held a talisman in her hand. She didn't use any auxiliary tools to light it. The yellow talisman ignited on its own in her hand. Then, Granny poured the ashes of the talisman into the water. Strangely, the water didn't look dirty at all. It was still a bowl of water. Ling had seen Granny cast spells before, so she didn't make a fuss. Instead, he simply stood by the side and watched intently. Ling, go into the room. Granny, I'll learn from you too. After so many years, this is the first time I've seen this same heart goo. The little girl seemed to be very interested in these metaphysics. No, go into the house. I'm enough for the family. Ling, don't walk the same path as Granny Goo. The old woman scolded sternly. Xiao Ling pursed her lips and reluctantly returned to her room. Little Qin, drink this bowl of water. The old woman handed a bowl of water to Qin Chu. Qin Chu closed his eyes and drank the water without hesitation. At this point, Qin Chu knew better than anyone else that he shouldn't doubt the people he used. Since he had chosen to believe Granny, he couldn't hesitate anymore. Therefore, the old lady liked Qin Chu's boldness. After Qin Chu drank the water, his body began to undergo subtle changes. His entire body was emitting a kind of heat. In an instant, it was a high temperature. It was as if his body was running a high fever of 38 or 39 degrees. However, he still didn't say anything. He just closed his eyes and waited for everything. The old lady slowly opened the black box. Then, as she chanted an incantation, she took out a dagger and cut a small wound on Qin Chu's left wrist. Blood immediately flowed out. 5 seconds later, a red bug crawled out of the black box. Its body was transparent, as if the red liquid inside was swaying as it crawled. It was especially strange. The old lady continued to chant. Qin Chu remained motionless. The red bug followed the blood and crawled towards Qin Chu's wrist. Then, it went straight into the wound that had just been cut open by the dagger. At that moment, the pain was unbearable. Qin Chu only felt a piercing pain in his entire arm, but he still didn't move. He kept Grandma's words in mind. After the goo worm entered, the old lady took out a yellow talisman and sealed the wound. Then he continued to chant the incantation. Qin Chu could even feel something crawling up his left arm. Every step was an unforgettable pain. Gradually, beads of sweat appeared on his forehead. The whole process lasted about 20 minutes. Just as Qin Chu felt that he couldn't hold on any longer and was about to faint from the pain, Lin Fan's eyes lit up. That kind of pain magically disappeared. Little Qin, you can open your eyes now. Hearing Grandma's words, Qin Chu slowly opened his eyes. He subconsciously looked at his left wrist that had just been cut by the knife. He couldn't believe his eyes. The wound had disappeared as if nothing had happened. His body was no longer hot and had returned to its usual state. Grandma, the goo worm has already entered. Next, I'll cast a spell to find him. You might have to suffer a little later. It's okay, I'm not afraid. Qin Chu nodded firmly. Ling, come out for a moment. Grandma called out to her granddaughter again. Chapter 4376. Grandma, help Grandma hold this, the old lady said as she pointed at a large world map on the ground. Ling spread out the map and held it up with both hands. The old lady took out the dagger again and looked at Qin Chu. When I start chanting, close your eyes and think of your wife. All the happy times you and your wife have. In short, it must be everything about her. The stronger the obsession, the stronger the power. Okay. Qin Chu nodded excitedly. He could already feel that Mion wasn't far away from him. It'll still hurt a little. You have to bear with it. I can do it. Don't worry, Grandma. This pain was nothing compared to the pain he felt when he lost Huamian. Therefore, to Qin Chu, any physical pain was bearable. Then, the old lady chanted another spell. She cut open Qin Chu's left index finger. Then, as if he was possessed, he kept moving his finger on the world map. Blood kept seeping out. Ling held the map and didn't dare to move. Qin Chu couldn't help but point randomly. He knew that it wasn't his own strength, but the goo worm's guidance. He didn't care about the tearing pain in his body. He just focused and tried his best to think about Mion and everything that happened when they were together. 5 minutes passed. In the end, his fingers settled on a point and stopped. No matter how much the old lady chanted, his finger didn't move. Grandma, it should be done. Ling reminded her softly. Then, the old lady stopped chanting. She opened her eyes. She saw Qin Chu's finger leave a 6-petal-shaped bloodstain. Yes, it's here. Qin, you can open your eyes now. Excited, Qin Chu opened his eyes and looked at the location on the map, slightly serious. He had never thought that Mion would be in such a place. Inside Su Yu's private mansion. Su Yu was drinking beer and watching the NBA All-Star game. Han Yueyao called at this time. Seeing that it was her, Su Yu picked it up. President Su, yes. Did you ask the company to transfer the money to me? Why did you do this? Han Yueao had mixed feelings when she saw the message of 5 million yuan in her account. She knew that her sudden announcement of her withdrawal from the entertainment industry had caused Su Yu a great loss. So how could he have the nerve to ask for any reward? Maybe it wouldn't even be enough to pay for the breach of contract. It's not a small amount. You should stop while you're ahead. Huh, I've deducted the rest. These are for your retirement. Emichim, Su Yu said in a joking tone. Han Yueao wanted to cry. Her voice was choked with sobs. President Su, why are you so nice to me? I'm not worth it really. I'm just a person who gave up halfway. Dreams and perseverance don't matter to me, don't cry. It's almost the new year. It's not auspicious. Once you get the money, go buy some New Year goodies for your parents, like new clothes or something. President Su, thank you. Han Yueao tried hard not to cry. After returning to Jing City, she missed Su Yu almost every day. But she knew that once she took the step, she wouldn't be able to go back. Chapter 4377. Han Yueao also knew that it must be Su Yu's idea to receive this huge sum of money from Imperial Star. 5 million yuan wasn't a lot for Su Yu. It wasn't enough to buy a big house in Jing City. But for Han Yueao's family, it was a large sum of money that could be used for many things. The moment she received the money, she even imagined asking her parents to sell their small house in Jing City. With this huge sum of money, the three of them could go to a small coastal city in the southeast region and buy a seaside house with a balcony. Then, they could open a happy snack bar downstairs and make some special snacks in Jing City to sell to all kinds of people. Her wish of many years was easily fulfilled by Su Yu with a huge sum of money. Don't thank me. I'm an evil capitalist and I've earned a lot from you. Su Yu couldn't stand being praised and refused to admit his good deeds. Don't say that. You're so stubborn. Damn it, you called Boss Chen a duck? Give me back the 5 million yuan. Han Yueao immediately smiled through her tears. No, no, no. You want to take back the money that's in my hands? In your dreams. Okay, that's right. It's New Year's Eve, you should smile more. You look so good when you smile. Su Yu, if you can't find a wife in the future, and I can't get married. Su Yu coughed lightly and waited for her to continue. He thought Han Yueao would say that he would marry her when the time came. Unexpectedly, the girl changed the topic. Why don't we become sworn sisters? We can form a team called Brother and Sister, Han Yueao said with a smile. Su Yu, shouldn't it be one who can't find a wife and the other can't get married? Su Yu had read this kind of plot in romance novels. So, what the hell was this about becoming sworn sisters? Haha, in your dreams? Who wants to marry you? You've been flirting with countless girls these years. You were too arrogant when you were young. When you're old, your kidneys are failing. I don't want you, Su Yu, damn it. Is this something an unmarried girl like you should say? It's embarrassing. Su Yu was exasperated. Anyway, all kinds of disdain. Damn girl. Don't let me catch you, or I'll knock your head off, Su Yu teased her. Come on. You're welcome to knock. My head has been feeling itchy recently. Maybe I need a beating. Come and try. Han Yueao was completely provoking him. Su Yu had planned to chat with Han Yueao for a while. After all, she was a nice girl. After Han Yueao's departure, he didn't want a Yueao's attitude. However, he had to call. Looking at Qin Chu's incoming call, Su Yu's expression turned grim. Big Yao Yao, I'll talk to you later. I have something to do. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Han Yueao hung up happily. She didn't know that this was the last call she had with Su Yu. From then on, Han Yueao couldn't contact Su Yu again. She regretted countless times that she didn't shamelessly talk to Su Yu more. She had so many things on her mind that she didn't have time to tell Su Yu. Qin Chu. After hanging up, Su Yu immediately picked up Qin Chu's call. Su Yu, where are you? I'm at home. Wait for me. I'll be there soon. Then, Qin Chu hung up in a hurry, but with Su Yu's understanding of Qin Chu, he knew that every time he called, it was for something important. Chapter 4378. It took Qin Chu almost 10 minutes to drive from his mother-in-law's house to Su Yu's house. He really drove all the way. No one knew how excited he was at this moment. At Su Yu's house. When Su Yu opened the door for Qin Chu, he was shocked. "You came so quickly. Were you near my house?" Then where did you come from?" "Gangxi Road." "Fuck? You flew here?" Su Yu was shocked. Qin Chu didn't give him a chance to be stunned and pushed the door open. "Where's the study?" Qin Chu asked him. "The second floor." Su Yu pointed upstairs, and Qin Chu went straight to the second floor. Su Yu followed behind Qin Chu with a dumbfounded expression. He didn't know why this guy came in such a hurry, and was also confused by what he saw. However, he knew that Qin Chu must have something important to discuss with Su Yu. Therefore, this guy didn't dare to follow him. Qin Chu pushed open the study and walked in. He found a piece of paper and a pen. Su Yu didn't understand at first. When he saw what Qin Chu had written on the paper, he suddenly understood what was going on. Qin Chu didn't want to use any electronic equipment to communicate with him. Su Yu quickly closed the door. It seemed like Qin Chu's matter was very important. Otherwise, he wouldn't have stopped trusting the anti-eavesdropping equipment. After Su Yu closed the door, he quickly returned to the table. He saw Qin Chu write on the white paper, "I found Mion." Su Yu was about to speak when he suddenly remembered this special communication method. Thus, he quickly raised the pen and asked, "Where is she?" Qin Chu wrote a string of English words and even drew the map's logo himself. Su Yu was shocked. "No way! That place isn't suitable for humans to live in. The environment is so bad, how could it be? I'm sure it's here," Qin Chu wrote. "Then let's go find her quickly." "What do I need to do?" Su Yu wrote. Qin Chu picked up the pen and replied, "Now you have to go to this place as a traveler and find out what's going on there. I'll find a way to distract the people who are watching us, and then I'll go find you." "Alright, then I'll set off immediately. Even at the fastest speed, it'll take at least 20 hours. Su Yu looked at the place that Qin Chu had drawn. He had never been to this place before, north of Earth, the northernmost point, the mysterious Arctic glacier that was said to not see the sun for several months. Qin Chu wrote again, "Remember what I said. Keep in touch with me at all times. Don't act rashly and alert the enemy. Be careful." "I know." Just like this, the two men in the study, you one stroke, I stroke, one stroke after another. Although the method of writing was ancient and clumsy, it was true that no matter how sophisticated and advanced a weapon was, it couldn't be eavesdropped. It was a good idea. Half an hour later, Qin Chu walked out of the study and left Su Yu's house in a hurry. Su Yu hurriedly packed his luggage and set off with him to the place that Qin Chu had drawn. Su Yu was a person who didn't like to waste time. Every time he went out, he would be in a hurry. But this time, he unexpectedly went home before going to the airport. He especially said goodbye to Mrs. Su, who was also his mother. It was almost the Chinese New Year, and Lady Su was hanging some red lanterns with the word "Fu" with the servants at home. Lady Su was very happy that her son had suddenly returned. You're back at the right time. Come, your calligraphy is good. Write the word "Fu" for me. I want to hang it up." Lady Su smiled and held her son's hand. If it was in the past, Su Yu would have promised. In the small wholesale market, 10 yuan for 10 pieces. "You still want me to write it? Isn't it tiring?" But this time, he didn't. Chapter 4379. He obediently picked up the brush and the red paper his mother had prepared. Then, he wrote the word "fortune" seriously and properly. It had to be said that Su Yu's calligraphy was very beautiful and strong. Lady Su smiled and held her son's arm. She was very happy. You've grown up in the blink of an eye. Every year, I asked you to write a fortune for me, but you refused every year. This year, I finally fulfilled my wish. It's so beautiful. When your father and grandfather come back, I'll show it to them. They'll definitely be very happy. Mom, Happy New Year." Su Yu held his mother's face in his hands and kissed her on the forehead. Lady Su was surprised by the sudden kiss. "What are you doing? Are you happy today? Are you drunk?" Lady Su thought that her son was drunk and even carefully grabbed his clothes to see if there was any smell of alcohol on him. Suyu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "Mom, I didn't drink. I really didn't drink." "That's not right." "Then why are you so obedient today?" "You haven't been so obedient since you were 6 years old." Suyu was speechless. "Madam, our boss is going out. He came to say goodbye to you." And was talkative. His words instantly made the smile on Lady Su's face disappear without a trace. "You're going out?" Lady Su looked at her son and questioned him with a gloomy expression. "Yes. It's almost the new year. Why you still running around?" "Mom, I'm going on a trip with a few big clients in North America. It's related to my billion-yuan business." Suyu made up a story. "You only care about money, just like your father. Our family hasn't had a peaceful new year for a long time. Can't you not go?" Lady Su's eyes were filled with grievance, just like a little girl. Suyu's heart ached, but he knew that saving Huamin was extraordinary. Therefore, he couldn't mention it to anyone, and thought that Suyu was really going to the North Pole for fun. He didn't know the purpose of this trip. "I really can't. Mom, I promise you. I'll try my best to come back early, okay?" Lady Su didn't say anything, but she was obviously unhappy. Suyu continued to coax her as he hugged his mother's shoulders. "Mom, I'll buy you pretty clothes, dresses, and necklaces when I come back." "I don't want it." Lady Su was angry. "Then I'll bring you a pretty daughter-in-law." "That's fine," Lady Su said hurriedly. You're really greedy. You said it yourself, that you'd bring home a pretty daughter-in-law." "I think Yao Yao's pretty good. I called her and she said she went to another city to shoot a movie. I thought she wouldn't have time to come home for the new year, so she came to our house. Let your grandpa and dad see her and give her some advice." It was obvious that Lady Su liked girls like Han Yueyao. However, Suyu didn't say that Han Yueyao had returned to Jing City, quit Imperial Star, and left the entertainment industry. Firstly, he wasn't sure if Han Yueyao was just saying it out of anger or if she really wanted to leave. He was afraid that if he announced it, she wouldn't be able to come back in the future. Secondly, Nielingxuan's movie was in theaters, and Imperial Star couldn't have any negative news. Therefore, Suyu planned to announce it after the new year. "President Su, it's almost time," and looked down at his watch and urged Suyu in a low voice. Suyu held his mother's hand reluctantly. Don't be angry." I'll come back to celebrate the new year with you. We'll eat dumplings. Go. Come back early. Be careful." "I will." Yeah. Remember to come home early." Lady Su had said this when Suyu was a soldier. Now she said it again. But what she didn't know was that this time, Suyu would never come back. Chapter 4380. When Suyu left home, he did not know what he would face this time. He just suddenly felt that it was almost Chinese New Year, so he should inform his mother before going out. After leaving home, Suyu and went straight to the airport. Suyu was a super rich person, so it was not strange for him to travel anywhere. The journey to the North Pole was very troublesome because it was sparsely populated. Other than explorers, very few tourists would go there. Suyu trusted Qin Chu completely. He knew that since Qin Chu had chosen the location, it should be right. Therefore, he really embarked on the journey to find Huamin without hesitation. Before boarding the plane, Suyu contacted Qin Chu to ensure that they had set off. Qin Chu then went to the villa in the suburbs. After being controlled, Layla was obviously much more obedient. Qin Chu looked around and saw that there was nothing unusual. Only then did he return home in relief. Then he contacted Xiao Fei, and Xiao Fei contacted Ian. All the forces gathered at the underwater palace in the North Pole. Qin Chu had indeed been monitored by Linya. This was also the reason why he did not go to the North Pole personally. He had to go to the North Pole. However, Qin Chu was waiting for the right opportunity. It was late at night. Qin Chu sat in the study again. This time, he was not sad or nostalgic. Qin Chu touched his chest. He knew that after being poisoned by the heart with Yugu, his life was completely linked to Huamin. If Huamin died, he would not live alone. Although this was very selfish and people would say that he did not care about the feelings of the children. However, Chu knew that in this life, he would live for Huamin. So what if he was selfish for once? Me. We should meet soon. You and the children must wait for me. You must. Chu's voice was rarely gentle. He knew that everything was not far away. No matter what Lin Ya's goal was, they had to end it. Underwater Palace. Lin Ya sat on the chair with her long black hair draped over her shoulders. Messiah, what did you say about Layla? My lord, Miss Layla is under someone's control and has completely cut off contact with us. What about the spies we arranged? I can't contact them anymore. I don't know where they are, Messiah replied. Chu, this kid has some skills. I'm curious too. Miss Layla is so powerful. How did they subdue her? Logically speaking, it shouldn't be possible. They shouldn't be able to lock her up. Miss Layla wouldn't be afraid of anesthesia. I just can't figure it out. Messiah had always thought that Layla was one of Lin Ya's most powerful test subjects. He thought that he was going to do something big, but he didn't expect that he would be taken down so easily. It was really surprising. Lin Ya wasn't surprised. She smiled. You guys are underestimating Chu. If he wasn't capable, Mian wouldn't be so stubborn as to follow him and not listen to me. My lord, what should we do now? Do we need to save Miss Layla? Why should we save her? She's just a piece of trash. Sure enough, Lin Ya really had no feelings for Layla. Hearing that Chu had subdued her, Lin Ya planned to give up on this pawn. She wouldn't waste manpower to save her. But my lord has invested a lot of energy in Miss Layla all these years. If she's gone just like that, it would be a pity, Messiah said. That's not important anymore. Messiah, the most important thing now is the red demon. I just want old Lu to hand over the red demon. Chapter 4381. It seemed like the red demon was the most important thing to Lin Ya at this moment. For this thing, Lin Ya even deliberately sacrificed Layla or more pawns. Master, I think, why don't we let Miss Huamin meet the professor alone? What you mean is, Lin Ya looked at Messiah and seemed to understand what she was thinking. What I mean is very simple. Give the father and daughter a chance to meet and let them both know your intentions. Even if they agree not to hand over the red demon in the end, you can remind the professor that Miss Mian is about to give birth and Miss Lu Yan's life is about to be frozen. Is he really willing to lose 2 daughters and grandchildren at once? Then I might as well threaten old Lu directly. Lin Ya smiled. I think it's better to reason with him. What if the professor is angered by your threat and destroys the red demon? Wouldn't our plan fail? That's right, Messiah. You've become smarter. It's not that I've become smarter. I just can tell that the professor still has feelings for you, and Miss Mian isn't a heartless person. Okay, then let's do it your way. Okay, I'll do it now. Wait, Lin Ya shouted. Messiah turned around. Send someone to continue monitoring Chu. I'm afraid that kid will play some tricks. Yes, master. It was ironic that Lin Ya, who had always thought of herself as a god, was fearless and could even play with Professor Lu. However, she was a little worried about Chu, afraid that Chu would play some tricks. With Lin Ya's instructions, Messiah specially arranged for Huamin to meet her father alone again. In a room full of white ice and mirrors, Huamin sat there quietly with her belly protruding. She had a strange phenomenon recently, which was that she hadn't dreamed for a long time. Ever since she came to this place, she rarely dreamed. It was as if every day was a blur. The child's lack of movement made her more and more uneasy. It had been more than 10 days. If she waited a few more days, it would be troublesome when it was 20 days old. She had been an obstetrician and gynecologist for so long, but she had never seen anyone give birth so late. Usually, some children would suffocate in their mother's womb after a few days. Some had their umbilical cords tangled around their necks. Huamin would sometimes wake up in the middle of the night to touch his belly. As for the little guy, when he felt his mother's touch, he would give a little response and move lazily a few times. This way, Huamin would feel more at ease. However, Huamin himself sometimes wondered if he was pregnant with Aneza. Just as he was lost in his thoughts, the door opened. The professor was wearing a dark gray shirt and had white hair. Huamin quickly stood up. The professor nodded. You guys go ahead and talk. Just call me if you need anything. After Messiah sent the two of them into the secret room to meet, she carefully retreated. Dad, how are you? Did that woman threaten you? Huamin asked the professor. Xiaoya didn't threaten me. Dad, I'm telling you that woman is crazy. Do you know that? She told me yesterday that she's not human. Something about being born in 1665, more than 300 years old. Something about immortality. Huamian sent out all the information in one go. The professor just listened quietly. 10 minutes later, Huamin finished all this in one breath. Then he held the professor's hand and asked excitedly, Dad, do you think Linya is crazy? The professor still lowered his head and didn't say anything. Dad, say something. What should we do now? We can't stay in this godforsaken place forever. Huamin was anxious. Mian, how trustworthy do you think Linya's words are? The professor asked Huamin. You're tuning in to the Wang Lin's Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.